And welcome back for the final time this week. Super Week's about to come to an end, and I tell you what, Tally, we've had pretty much all you can ask for, right? We've had bangers, we've had crazy picks, and that game there certainly just didn't really disappoint as well.
No, it was even though it looked like such a one-sided show, it was a very exciting game, and I always enjoy watching these kind of comps succeed. I think it's, much more boring seeing like the, oh yeah, we got the control mage, we got the tanks, we ran over you. We got to see the, the side lanes this time showing up, Chirp showing up especially on that Yone, Prey on the Fury doing so well in his 1v1 and just, kind of outscaling that entire game, and I think it was a really nice showing from Fury.
I think it was as well, and the big question on a lot of us is, or a lot of our minds rather, is like, okay, what are the bans going forward? Because everybody thought, okay, Neferi, that's their new one trick, that's their newfound lease on life, that's how they're going to try and patch this mid-jungle dynamic. They come at the gate swinging saying, you know what, we're going to go for the Fiora that's never won before, we're going to combine with the Yone, we've never seen Chirp play before, and now Nox just gets to laugh straight to the bank. He's like, I get to invade, I get to play my AP champions, I get to be a menace. 2 out of 3 so far. Do we hit Exodia? Do we get the Yone ban too?
And it's as easy as drafting, you just ban what beat you. So if we do see the Yone come through next, we might see that Orianna priority once again coming out of Emphis. But I would really like to see a different blind pick coming out of Chungi. I think that Gragas, it's not a very good champion to blind pick. It's so susceptible to being countered. Even tanks can do a really good job into Gragas and just really take these towers away from him. Doesn't have the best engage tool, but just acts as this blanket champ in the top lane who I think other champs do better jobs.
Well, I guess I'm now Direwolf's new coaching drafting master. That's exactly what we asked, and that's exactly what we'll get. You'd imagine the Sejuani will be that third ban. Given that we've not swapped sides, Fury don't want to change up whatsoever. They're very comfortable with how their game plan went.
So, are we going to see the, bounce back from Fury, a different AP jungler pair with a Neferi? Is that something he wants to blind pick? Do they have another champ they can play in the mid lane? I assume that they have been, frying up some picks in the draft. So, really excited to see what it is. But we do see the Nola's priority coming out of Direwolf. So, they do want a lot more of that lockdown prioritized engage this time.
100%, yeah. It was actually Direwolves that banned it away in the second half of that pick ban last time. So, given that the supports are so impactful, going to start on a little bit more of a controlled measure, I suppose, is a fair way to label this one. The Ashe was denied last game, but what is the consideration this time? Hooper, ever so comfortable on the Zeri. Would they go for this one, or do they think, you know what, we just want so much lockdown that Leona and Ashe, rather, is the play?
Yeah, I wonder what changed in Hooper's priority when it came to champions, because, this time he sees the Nolus and thinks that, instead of wanting the mobile champion, I want to play the Ashe. So maybe a lot more focusing on the lane, on the 2v2, because Ashe is a much better laner than the Zeri and a much better champion at abusing these, champs who can, if they do miss the Hawk, do miss that initial engage, can get run down by the, slow coming of the Ashe, but could also be a tool to get some more CC to layer up with Nox's pick.
100%, because they've gone for the Ezreal in response here, had the Direwolves, so we know this is a champion that can be very very slippery, very hard to lock on down. Whether or not this is a conscious decision to say, look, that is a pretty scary bot 2v2. I want you, Shinky, to be unleashed from this lane as quickly as you can, and make sure that they can't be as big of a lane bully as they were in that first game. Make sure that you can link up with Mayfarn as quickly as possible and give Emphis some agency to do what he does best. If it's not the Ahri, LeBlanc's certainly his next best.
Excuse me. This is actually a good Neferi matchup. I swear to God, it's actually a good Neferi matchup. So this might be an angle for Chirp to pick it here, but he has all the options in the world as well. They can drop whatever they want. But I'm excited to see Emphis on the LeBlanc, because this is the champion he is known for. We always talked about, when 80 LeBlanc was very good last split. A lot of people playing it. Emphis was still saying, I want to be playing the AP LeBlanc. It's my preference. And right now, LeBlanc is such a strong champion.
So strong with those sudden impact changes, and just a lot of nuisance in lane. Very, very hard to lock on down. 2 of the champions banned last game have been picked up by Fury. The Neferi, I wonder if they say it needs to be banned to protect this LeBlanc or not. It would seem like a bit of a wild gamble to let that one slip on through, but the Jarvan has been denied. Clear indication from Fury that they understand. Ooh. Yep, we are quite immobile, but the Malzahar, I mean, all these crazy Chirp picks are now starting to be isolated.
And, talking about crazy picks, if Fury do want to go for the AD jungler set on Nox and play a mage in the mid lane, we know how good Annie is into LeBlanc. We always see, like, Knight playing this one overseas, running the first strike with the Molten Shield level 1, you can always guarantee that proc onto champs like LeBlanc. Guarantees the stun if she does jump forward, and you're always going to do more damage, more burst, you can catch her off guard. Just quite a good matchup if that is something he wants to go for.
So, double AD junglers taken off the ball, Jarvan and Lee Sin. Everybody is wondering, is the Neferi going to get let on through, or was the Malzahar a bit of foreshadowing that we don't want to let you have any fun in this game? There you go. Really, it's it must feel so good from the side of Fury to be like, okay, well, sure, these champions are fantastic, but like, people are taking notice of us, and the meta has gone out the window. 5 pocket picks.
Oh, that was it. So we had 2 AD champs in the frying pan, and now we're straight back to the Victor, straight back to the main. So hopefully this is a solo AP Victor, because Gimme, if this does end up being an AP jungler paired with this Victor, I am very afraid for, you know, how useless this champ can be.
But I'm wondering what we go back to, right? Because there is a world in which the Bel'Veth is still up and available. Not going to try and get too excited by that one just yet, but a Bel'Veth, as in a Poppy. I mean, these are all options that certainly Nox can revert back to, towards, you know, that old style of theirs. But Yasuo's there. And definitely, this is Shuggy saying, you know what, that sucked. Gragas was not fun. I want to play top like it's mid.
Yeah, but this might be a pairing with Mayfire in the jungle. We have seen him play Zac in the top lane. This could be a champ he can lock in the jungle right now. Really good into the Ashe and Victor. I don't think the Gragas is particularly, you know, the better pick here, because he is more reliant on doing damage, and with that double AP coming out of the LeBlanc and you know, screw that, Skimmy. Don't worry about the combo at all.
Wow. Okay. Well, I was wondering if it's not going to be the Viego, like maybe the Wukong, maybe a Gragas jungle, maybe the Zac. No, you know what? I want to be just so volatile in this game that Viego is going to be there to pick up the pieces. And yeah, the Vi gets locked in. So much lockdown from Fury. Triple ults that can make sure that nobody gets to function. Very difficult then for Katsuri to try and be a bit of a hero. But then, to be fair, Direwolves have, you know, drafted 4 carries in their own respective roles.
Yeah, and I'm quite disappointed that wasn't a Zac pick. I think the Viego pick here honestly sucks. Doesn't pair too well, you know, with the LeBlanc compared to like these other AD threats, and it doesn't really do well as the game scales. And I think that enabling Chungi to really blow up this backline was a much better course for them to take. But, you know, this is what they are going for. Chungi does lock in the Yasuo into the Aatrox, so going for that skill matchup feels much more comfortable having some agency in lane instead of being the, you know, the weak side wave clearer. But I really like the vibe pickup from Fury. I thought that, you know, if it wasn't the Bel'Veth, it was going to be the Vi, which was left up. You know, they did get rid of the Jarvan and the Lee Sin, which are the other 2 options in the game. Very nice for that lockdown, especially on mobile champs like LeBlanc and Ezreal, and this just means that Chirp can really take over this game with Nox's CC.
Well, if the game goes long enough, right, this Victor is going to be, you know, Melbourne shuffling on absolutely everybody and just dropping the beat. You know, he's going to get it done with these lasers really starting to hurt. And I think it really puts the timer on for Direwolves, right? That you need to make sure that Ezreal is ahead of this Ashe. You need to make sure that this LeBlanc is causing threats around the map, and that the Viego doesn't fall into that category of a very much feast or famine style. It's going to be a tough ask. I sort of look at it and go, it's a squishy comp that doesn't really seem to be too happy if it's behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of these comps do not want to end up being behind, because we know LeBlanc, useless from behind, Victor, quite useless from behind, doesn't have that same CC or engage potential that you would see from an Orianna or an Azir. So he is this, you know, pure damage control mage who is just quite, I would say he's a bit better at silent than the Orianna Azir. You know, he's got a bit of extra mobility when he gets that Q evolution, and then the slow from his, you know, final evolution, which allows him to really run down these champions if they're out of position. I think that both teams want to scale up. There's a lot more CC engage coming out of the Fury roster, so pairing up the Ashe ult with the Leona, with the Vi engage, if there is mispositioning coming out of the Direwolves side, we will see punishment happening.
That we most certainly will see. We're loading into the Rift for the final time this week. Here we go with Fury grouped up as 5, looking for some level 1 shenanigans. A quick reminder, both these teams, they're currently 5th and 6th, with Direwolves having 2 points over that of Fury. A clean 2-0 tonight would pinch that spot away from them and make it that much easier to guarantee a chance for the playoffs. No level 1 action just yet. He's going to fizzle out. The gamble wasn't to be found. They are unable to prey upon Chungi.
Yeah, we're finally seeing some level 1 action happen, but unfortunately they didn't run into each other. Maybe one day Skinny will get to see that 5v5 brawl happening at level 1. That will always be, you know, an absolute blessing to cast, but just going to be some fanning after they were looking for some potential like early cheeses onto some mispositioning. Bit of priority for Prey in the top lane, as they did enable him to, you know, walk into lane and find some bush control, which is good for him. Nox dropping an early ward on his chickens is interesting though. Not really sure what he was thinking would happen dropping the ward there if Mayfire was going to look for an early invade, which isn't, you know, a really common occurrence.
Let's talk about this mid lane. Let's start from there and work our way around, because we really talked about this being a bit of a skill matchup between the Yasuo as well as the Aatrox. Both are incredibly comfortable. You'd argue one of their best champions in either Arsenal. But for the mid lane, should it be the LeBlanc really running the show for these first few moments?
I would say when Victor runs these combat keystones, he kind of does outmuscle his respected opponents, especially with that Q site abusing the shield. If he does land multiple lasers in his lane, he's going to be stronger. But Emphis has that gank set up, and that's the major thing. Chirp, we always talk about how he's quite susceptible to falling down, and this is one of the matchups paired with like a Viego flash in the early game where you can die.
Let's see if the game allows it to go in that state. Look at the electrocute damage already, level 2. And that's taken a sizable chunk out of Chirp's health bar. He's going to return back with the laser, but a little bit harder with that vector placement to try and figure out the ideal spot to utilize it. We're checking with top lane again, and it's Chungi at this stage holding his own. You'd imagine, if we can facilitate a way in which Chungi can play these carries, much like Tien, right, when he gets his chance to play his 2, Direwolves would look like a whole different breed. But Botlane, I suppose, is the one thing we've yet to really talk about. We've spoken at lengths of, the Ashley on it. It's a known quantity at this stage. But I am quite curious to see if Shinky decides to stay for the 2v2 or very early on links up with Mayfan.
Well, that's the strength of the Ezreal. You can feel comfortable roaming, leaving Ezreal to play this semi-weak side as you do link up with your jungle or your mid laner looking for these roams. On these windows would be the times you want to look for roams, but instead of that, Emphis going towards the top lane and then looking for a dive onto this carry matchup of the top lane.
He's already copped 2 turret shots. That's going to certainly hurt. Big wave here. No protection. TP going to come in. And is it too little too late? We'll have to wait and see, because the first blood goes the way of the LeBlanc. Great roam up from Memphis. And Chirp is literally only here now to pick up the wave.
Yo, this is very nice for Chirp. He's going to get a lot more CS than he should have. Prey's going to walk towards the mid lane and catch the wave that is bouncing back. Holding out is the TP though. Really nice flash by him to dodge the initial tornado from Chungi, but just so much damage coming out of LeBlanc and Viego at this point in the game.
Let's see if that allows them to really get the ball rolling and make themselves a very scary mid-jungle for that draw result. Or if elsewhere on the map they have more to say. So hard to lock down the Ezreal. The Nautilus, you can buffer the hook. The Leona, you can just simply jump away from that Zenith Blades. And certainly if the timing's right, you could bait Findo underneath the tower.
Yeah, but these mana costs really start to add up. If you're constantly having to deploy the Arcane Shift, for that Zenith Blade trade, that is a lot of mana. Throwing out 90 mana every single time you use that spell is a lot, as Ezreal does not have an insanely big mana pool in the early starts of the game, and I assume Katsuri did go for the sorcery secondary, so he does not have the cookies in his inventory yet. Going to be sitting very low on mana, and this is going to be a priority coming from the 3 bot lane, and they are going to have the priority on when they want to reset.
No doubt is screaming at Mayfan, please come to my lane, bail me out, allow me to get a reset and pick up this tier as quickly as I can, because that's certainly when some of those issues just start to get alleviated. You'd imagine with that first blood going the way of Emphis, he can hold his own a little bit more without any real need for some sort of babysitting. And it still is going to be a case of the lane swap with the lane rolls all alone over the show as well. It gets a little bit confusing as to who should be where at any given stage. With Nox now shielding, he might finally be given safe passage to return back home.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chirp wasn't able to get that bounce before Chungi came back to lane. He hasn't bought himself yet, so the wave didn't reset, but Chungi did push it out as he was, constantly dashing through the wave, trading with Chirp and drawing aggro. So we're going to see hopefully these lanes swap back to their normal states, and Chirp with that first 1.2, 1.3k buy is going to make him much happier in his solo lane.
It should be the case. A little bit of extra mobility in that first item, so you're going to be quite happy to entertain the shenanigans that the LeBlanc can certainly offer. Speaking of that, Emphis was definitely being a bit of a nuisance, making sure that Prey couldn't reset as quickly as he would have wanted. Just make sure the tempo continues to be in their favor, and so far, so good. Yeah, he is level 6. He's been farming up an absolute storm. That certainly is going to be a nice little equalizing factor for them.
Yeah, they are pinging towards the dragon, so they do recognize Chirp is stronger in the mid lane. Emphis will be dinging 6 really soon, as we saw the XP bar when his champion was hovered, so not too bad of a position for Direwolves. 1 creep of 6 is going to even the lane back up, but there's always going to be a slight EXP advantage towards Chirp, and him starting tier in this lane, usually quite risky, probably a bit too greedy, but thanks to him being a bit stronger from that initial, covering the tower dive, he's going to be able to navigate that early part of the game.
I certainly hope so, and Mayfun is going to rely upon the fact that both Chungi and Emphis are keeping their lanes at bay, so it's safe patch to pick up all 3 grubs, and a very common trade that we've come to really get used to this season with the introduction of that new objective, that one goes to one side of the map, the other just trades. Those pings very much now successfully being converted into the first strike for them.
Yeah, so as the trade is happening, Chirp feels very comfortable to walk into the enemy jungle, drop a ward, and now we're going to see the mid laners hover each side of the lane because this is what is being played here right now with the map being split. Not much gank pressure going to come out from Direwolves onto the mid lane, which is what they really need to do to be able to snowball this LeBlanc in the 1v1, because without the ability to distortion forward all the time, and with the Victor laser getting even lower on cooldown as he gets more points in it, this harass is going to start hurting Emphis.
It certainly is. You can already see the clones being popped as a result of this one. It's going to be enough to force Emphis back to base. Hasn't really needed to use that TP, but now it finally will come to fruition. It's been difficult for both the Nautilus and the Leona to be, let from this lane to poke their head into mid and actually really find anything. It's been a case of just doing a few laps and dropping a few, wards on their world tour and allowing their laners to play as safe as they possibly can. And Chirp actually just going to decide, you know what, I don't need to go back to base. I found some honey fruit. I'm going to be A-OK. Bot lane now. Nox having got in for the fight. The exhaust is great. The cease and desist is fantastic, and Shinky will be the one to fall on down. Flash to run away. TP coming in. Is it too little too late? Chungy's got a nice way to try and dash on through, but the Solar Flare instantly cleansed that off. Can
Emphis is coming.
Find much more than that. The True Shot Barrage has already been committed to, but Emphis says, you're so squishy, you're so low. Goodbye, sweet dreams. Double kill. LB in her comfort zone. And if he gets a triple kill, oh my god.
Excuse me, I'm not sure how that chain went through the minions, but maybe Emphis is just a better LeBlanc than I am, because what an easy triple kill pickup for him. I think that might have been more points into the queue, because I feel like that chain combo did a lot more damage than I expected.
Really did so much damage. This fight really going from one tower to the other. And everybody from Direwolves saying, you will not escape from this play. It's really nicely done from Nox though for that first invade.
Yeah, really nice by Nox to be around at this time. Even though Shinky does get the flash on the turret, Nox takes that extra turret shot, which will mean he falls down later because he is in that lethal position. See Emphis coming down. Fortunately, the Hawk shot does spot the LeBlanc, so Nox feels comfortable face checking this bush, and that is lights out for him. Really nicely played by Emphis, using the electrocute onto the correct member there, and then finding that exit kill.
Yeah, so much false positivity and thinking we're safe here from the Ashe vision reveal. Ooh, close on the Ashe ult! But as we come out of that replay, Nox has unfortunately fallen down for the second time now. Flash forward, Fino hitting Daybreak, hitting the stun, and saying goodbye, Mayfarn. You're going to find any more resets anymore. You cannot do the invading. That's our job.
Yeah, and even though Emphis does have the Ludens in his inventory already, he's just not in position to be able to carry that fight. Really nice engage by Fino, recognizing Mayfarn can get one shot, especially paired up with Chirp's damage right now.
Tony keeps this game a bit of a guessing one for not only us, but for the players, even the viewers at home. It's like, okay, is this enough to actually put Direwolves back in control? Because Chuggy's been steadily cruising in this one, making sure that Prey, on his most comfortable champion in the Aatrox, is unable to have the impact he certainly had on that Fiora. And, well, we've already talked at great lengths as to how strong this LeBlanc is, despite the great work that Chirp had done in that initial lane swap.
This is something that's very deceptive that Chirp does. He is staunching Emphis in the 1v1, and you would think that's crazy, based on the items you're seeing in the inventory. He has the potential one-shot, but let me hold that point as you see the gank coming onto the top lane.
Normal combo, self-peeled, self-set up, rather, from Chungy here on towards Aatrox, who's got the world interactive, so that, Stain. That sustains too much to get through. They can't kill him in the 1v2. Enough time's being purchased for Nox to rock on up. But even Emphis gets amongst it too. Everybody rotating to try and turn this one down. It took such an age to finally remove this Aatrox that Chirp might be able to play cleanup crew much like Emphis did before. They've both got 20% to their name, and they're both unsure, where do I run to?
Emphis has nothing to do with that. Chirp rotates up, Emphis rotates up. A lot of, outplaying from both teams, and it's going to come out in the end an even trade, 2 for 2 on both sides. But, those kills going over to Chirp means that he's going to be able to shore up this gap in the mid lane. And I wanted to go back to my earlier point about what Chirp was doing in the 1v1. He is, playing very aggressive against the LeBlanc, who has all the tools to one-shot him if Emphis lands the spells. But Emphis doesn't feel comfortable going forward, because why would this guy be playing aggressive unless there's someone behind him? This is something we talk about. When you call Chirp's bluff, that's when he starts inting. But he did not there, and he got away with murder.
He certainly did get away with it, right? The feigned ability to say, I'm aggressive, there's a gank coming towards you. It wasn't ever really a case. It's more so, let's push out mid, and it's both handshake and agree to rotate to another lane to find the fight there instead. 5 grubs do get picked up by Direwolves in the end. Nox can settle for 1 to disrupt the perfect scoreline. But it will run it back with this clip that really took a couple of minutes here.
Yeah, and you wouldn't expect Prey to be this strong in this 1v2, but he does an insane amount of damage to Mayfarn, and this is the problem with the Viego. You need to get ahead, you need to be farming well, because you just don't do the same thing that Nox does. All Nox does is walk here, click R on Mayfan, and that's just a kill pickup for him. You know, he's done his job, and it's just so easy for him. He doesn't need to be this champion snowballs, but we see Emphis doing as much damage as he can, but it's just not enough before Chirp shows up. And you know, as we get to see the inventory of Chirp coming out of the replay, he really picked up his first item to match that of Emphis's.
He certainly did. That Lich Bane is going to really add up in terms of cycling through the damage rotations. We love our Trinity Force, but certainly Lich Bane fits the bill as well. And man, I'm not sure what I think of this new rework for the Aatrox. They are just so tanky, so hard to dive.
Yeah, absolutely. He does find an insane amount of time as, you know, Shinky is caught out of position, but he's being aggressive onto Chirp here instead.
Chaos Trap not going to be finding success. Shinky turns that aggression into one of their own volition as Chuggy jumps in with the last breath, but his own last breath has been used against him. He's dead, down for 20 seconds. And Fury find everything despite the ones that get jumped upon.
Nox does have the ult, so if this does overextend, but he's on 1 health, so it doesn't matter, Skimmy.
Oh my god, look at that. Zenith Blade Emphis has taken this guy on a magical journey without even playing the Bard. The Dragon is the sole point of priority. That's what they're all interested in, but with members crippled, I don't think anybody's really keen to entertain it much more.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, we got to talk about how these team fight dynamics work. Even though Emphis is so strong, if this is a straight up engage, you know, front to back without, you know, Emphis finding any poke, his champ is not going to be useful. He needs to find those crazy engages like Harry was, if that is the case.
Certainly is the case. He's popped his head across into the wall of the Dragon Pit and said, that's hurt a fair bit. Down to 1k HP. Who gets it? Stolen away there by Mayfun, delaying that early soul point. Shinky with the root. Emphis constantly being a menace across this wall. On vision, bear in mind, they're fully aware of it, but he doesn't care because the damage is too much to boot.
Chungy.
Cease and desist. They found Chungy. The Ash ult denied by the wind wall. Absolutely clutch. And can he outplay this much more than that? Shield of Daybreak gets it done. The CC is there, and you can't escape those volleys from an Ash.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Chirp did there. You know, he saw Emphis on the ward, walks up to the wall and gets one shot anyway. That should have been a very easy fight for Fury picking up on the members, but it's still being extended, Skimmy, so I'm sorry you're going to have to keep going.
It just never ends. It just never ends. Say it ain't so, because Mayfun out of that Hex Gate, back to the base he goes again. Short respawn time is... Sinners honestly could just carry on all day long at this point because Shinky says, give me back our red buff. This doesn't belong to you. Smite or no smite, we
TP.
go again. There's the TP. Yet another hook. The fight continues. The fight never ends. And if there's any chance for us to get analysis, it won't be in this game because we're going to find Nox. The red buff transfer is complete. And finally, we can breathe a sigh of relief.
This is such a fed LeBlanc, Skimmy. 6-0 with the you know, the book being purchased in the inventory, so there's a lot of potential for him to take over this game, but he needs to be so careful in these fights because if he, you know, goes a bit early with the distortion and cops a load of damage from Chirp, or, you know, the assault and battery from Nox does find him, that will be him falling down, and I think that when this LeBlanc does eventually die, it's going to be so hard for Dials to be able to continue playing aggressively.
100%. I'm sure we'll be checking with the gold after this fight. Hang on a minute, what is going on here? Prey across the wall saying, hello, let's have a fight. I'm strong, Infernal Chains have locked you in place, my ult is active, the chains hurt, but I've just got so much Omnivamp. My healing is out of control, and who's there to deny me? Chungy now across the wall, looking to try and get himself into the fight as well. He just gets turned upon, and the Ash ult denies that flank that really Katsuri is hoping to try and find. Right on the doorstep of their Herald, it's just pure destruction. Hooper gets a double kill, and look, he's not weak by any stretch of the imagination, but the Emphis, in classic LeBlanc fashion, he's just being a menace.
Do you remember when this Aatrox was 0-2, Skimmy? Because, you know, I sure don't. He just rocks up to these team fights, auto attacks once, and heals Emphis' entire combo straight to the face. But are we going to see an even more extended fight here? This Chirp does have access to the base gate if this extends a bit too long, and he is so strong right now.
I don't know if this is the fight we're after right now, guys. Katsuri and Mayfun trying to lock them in place as long as they can. Blind on the vision is Prey. Surprise, surprise, I'm hiding! Jumps out like he's a Twitch, but it doesn't matter! He just destroys Katsuri!
And the hook does not land on the Chirp, so maybe this is the end, Skimmy, but I'm holding my breath. You know, something might happen. I've seen crazy engages still be played for here, but Emphis, he's getting a lot of kills, but the rest of his team is falling down. He's not getting any CS. We get to see a 2-level lead in the mid lane right now. I do not think he's able to stand up to Chirp in the 1v1. He is walking over vision, and he has to land these combos perfectly to be able to blow up these members because we keep seeing throwing the entire, you know, kitchen sink into these frontliners of Fury, and they're just not dying.
It's crazy to think that you can be 7-0-3, have 16 stacks on the Medjais, and still be 2 levels behind, because Chirp has, as you say, been so risk-averse. Okay, you're fed, I can't match that, let me just outscale you.
it's easy as that, pretty much. He did a very good job, navigating the huge lead that Emphis got in the early game, and I think that, maybe Emphis has been playing a bit too safe based on how fed he is. He needs to be a bit more aggressive, because I think the clock will tick in this matchup when it comes to the kill threat, especially, since you're not playing into these range supports. There's a lot of lockdown from the enemy team, and you don't really have the same, openings to find all these kills.
Well, he'll be the one that answers the wave that Chirp is presenting. Massive wave that is going to guarantee their second turret of the game. The map becomes even easier for them to pounce upon with the assistance of Nox. Very difficult for them to answer back. I would love a chance for us to have a bit of a lull moment so we can actually talk about some of these differences in itemization and gold leads, but it may never appear because we once again look to fight with no objective to contest. Just a case of, I see a target, I want it.
Yeah, and one of the major gaps in the game right now is the bot lane. We look at how strong Findo is compared to Shinky. He is going to be much more consistent with his engages, and Hooper not going towards that Triforce Ashe that we're so used to seeing. Thankfully, I think the Phantom Dancer Ashe is just way better, does a lot more damage, and I think that Ashe is one of the best single target damaging AD carries, and building towards that is really good.
Oh my god, what do you do, Katsuri? Literally jump scare from every single direction. You've dodged out one. You've held your cleanse superbly there. Anticipating that the only other way they can try and kill me, having cleansed out of that, is through the Ashe ult.
Dragon's up.
And that also will be denied, but the health deficit does feel pretty bad, knowing that that next dragon is up and available. Across the wall we go! They say, you know what, Ashe? Have a Phantom Dancer. It does not matter because you are destroyed. Mayfan sends it, but Prey just does it a little bit better. Double kill, unlucky not to find the triple. But Fury are hunting for their first ace of the game. Does Chungy have anything left to say? Can he disrupt the party? Or can Shelly and the boys get it done?
Yeah, and that just goes to show, Fury's comp works together really well. Even though Hooper dies straight away, doesn't have the flash. Might have to hold my point is Chungy is going to extend this fight with the engage coming onto him.
Prey is just a goat. I mean, okay, he's missed one. Okay, goat status revoked for the moment, but to be 0-2, to now be 8-2, this is sublime.
Yeah, and I want to talk more about my earlier point with how these comps work. I can explain it as the team fight goes. We see Hooper falls down straight away. Really nice engage from the members of Direwolves, but we see that there's not much threat from the rest of the team. Nox solos out the major threat of Direwolves, and with Prey finding the reset, it just completely takes over the fight. There is no threat onto Chirp at this point, and I think that this Viego pick is useless, Skibby.
Yeah, you were really concerned about it when it got locked in. You certainly would have preferred it to be something to link up with Chungy, make it a little bit easier, not only for him, but also for Emphis to find angles in which he can anticipate. I can one-shot you. Everybody topped up and healthy. The only one threatening a flank would be him. And Fury say, you know what, forget it. We'll just turn to the other side, and you've been removed from the equation. It will be a 4v5, and it will be defensively used ultimates just to simply run away. But how do you disengage away from this? Because Findo travels through space and time. Emphis tries to pick up the stragglers, but he dies to the Ashe. And this is Fury saying, look how strong you are. You didn't get to truly utilize it. You've missed your window, and now we're going to punish you for that.
Yeah, and just what a performance out of Prey. He is just absolutely dominating these team fights, doing so much damage, always finding the correct, just getting resets and just running over these fights pretty much. The itemization out of him is really good, but another engage comes in, Skivvy.
Another engage does come in, and this one is looking to destroy the base itself. Just as the 20-minute mark is approached, it's going to be Hooper. Well, he's going to die to a tower, deny himself from any gold being found by the Direwolves, but they've claimed the inhibitor, they've used the Hex Gates for safety, and they can certainly look towards the Baron unless Emphis says the fight's not done until I say it is.
He has TP'd in, he isn't on vision. Will he be able to find Chirpy without flash?
Looks towards it, the Archangels instantly shield getting popped. And that Baron threat is no longer of much concern. They've left Findo. Really have sacrificed him to the Wolves, no pun intended. And this is...
okay.
This game's tempo is out of control.
I love Hextech Rift, Skimmy. There's so much action going on, and we get to see the Baron is being started, but thanks to the gates, they're able to get back so fast. The ults are coming off cooldown for some of the Fury members, so they really have to pay attention to the engage that will follow up here.
Windwall blocks the Ashe ult. Prey jumps on his own. Prey's destroyed. He went too early. 10-3 now. So strong, but not anymore. Down for 30 seconds. Chirp still lingering
Nox
from that previous pickup. Can Nox do something crazy here? Can he go for the steal? He can. No way. How does he steal that? Nobody goes to stop him across the wall, and he's just literally saved Fury's bacon.
Yeah, then we're going to see Mayfan jump in and just get sold out by the AD carry because, you know, his champ is just not strong right now. We look at the items in the inventory, does not have that same power. That was very Balkan-esque of Nox going in 1v5 on the Vi, stealing away the Baron, you know, almost a perfect smite. I think that was 1-190 we saw on the Baron there when it got smited, so just really good job to him. But Hooper, oh, bye-bye.
Honestly, at this point, Tally, you've basically become a play-by-play caster as well. I need a chance to breathe, I need a chance to get some hydration in me. This is exhausting work. This is a full body workout.
Bro, you know, I saw your tweet, you know, is casting, does it count as cardio? This does. This does.
Feels it.
Don't listen to Rusty. As we do go back into the replay, you know, we see the base gates being used. We see the plane coming out of Nox. Prey goes in a bit early. He is not tanky. He does a lot of damage, but he will get the push. 1,000 gold onto Shinky is such a shame. But, you know, Dirve will feel pressure to go for the Baron flip here, and Nox just does such a good job to get into the pit and really smite this one at almost a perfect margin.
Close as it comes, and that was the way back in here for Direwolves. Having shown how strong they were individually, they refused to give up. The TPs were committed, but unfortunately for them, the Baron was stolen away. That gold lead they wanted to try and claw on back is not going to be found anytime soon. It is still an 8k lead for the boys of Fury.
Yeah, and a lot of the lead is in the top lane right now. You know, look at the rest of the map besides the jungle from Mayfan. It's quite similar when it comes to the item spikes. You know, Katsuri is strong, has his 2 irons right now. You know, Empis, for how much he is struggling to find these kills, does have a lot of damage in his inventory, and if he does find these carries by themselves, can do almost their entire health bar.
AD carries, certainly for this meta, have been the stars of the show, but not on this matchup. Chungy's locked down Nox and says, nice Baron Siege. Enjoy it with a grey screen. Shinky, having picked up the shutdown, gets the Warmogs, but it doesn't afford him any luxury to survive in this fight. The Mayfan Viego, which we said was quite weak, has suddenly just got a double kill, and a shutdown goes away Katsuri, and this game still has so many more twists and turns left.
You know what, I will say, the one strength about Viego when you are behind is your enemies are fed, and when you do get that possession, you suddenly become them, and you're so strong, Skimmy. So when he does find the Leona possession, he is so tanky. He finds the possession onto the Aatrox, he is suddenly an absolute monster on the rip. As we do go to the replay, I think disengage onto mid was such a mistake. The members are split, and the initial plan from Fury was to go for that bot tower, but they just don't find access to the members, and you know, the resets keep coming through and they're overextended. This might have been the throw that gets Direwolves back into the game.
It certainly seems to be that way. Now it's been back-to-back major fights in which they've almost overvalued their, you know, their ability, their strength, and maybe a little bit of disrespect towards Direwolves, thinking, you know, I guess you're just going to roll on over. You're not as strong to try and answer back. There's Medjai's Page. I mean, Page has been ripped out. They've been burnt. They've been rewritten. He's back to 10 stacks on that one. Still is a menace.
Well, watch out, Stevie.
Find the angles.
There's an arrow coming at us. That one went backwards, but it might be another engage coming out of Nox, and I think this really favors Direwolves on these front-to-back engages.
Instant flash away. He's not taking any chances of that one, but Shinky left as a lamb to slaughter. Unfortunately for him, Katsuri should take a 1v1 with Prey. Ends up becoming the Prey as Vi locks him down in a heartbeat. Nox wastes no time to secure a double kill for his team. Back and forth we go. This is no longer a competitive game. This feels like solo queue.
This is not a competitive game anymore because it is a done game, Skimmy. This will be the ending for Fury. 5 strong pushing the base. Katsuri tries to play really aggressive, misses that initial Mystic Shot he needed to reset his Arcane Shift, and he falls down thanks to Nox finding the Assault Battery on him, and that's going to be Fury picking up the 2-0 in what was a very crazy second game.
This is fantastic. Not, you know, record-shattering. 53 kills done within this game. The record still to beat is 71. But that just shows you how incredible this game was. An ace to close it out, a perfect 2-0. And now they've pinched Direwolves in the standings.
54 kills in 20 minutes, Skimmy, or 20 and a bit minutes. What an absolute bloodbath we just watched, and this is the kind of League of Legends we love to see from the LCO.
Certainly what you want to see when we've had so many one-sided affairs, a chance of both these teams so evenly matched to say, you know what? Evenly matched, no more. Fury growing and growing as the split goes on. Their roster shuffles, maybe a bit of a burden at times, but they look better than ever now, and they've certainly put Iron on notice. Hey, we are coming for you.